back in London. Once again, a very good evening, those of you watching us from different platforms, and bear with us, of you waiting on the other broadcast that we are trying. Once again, good evening. Welcome to Star Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. Yes, we're back. We're back on again. We're back on again. We're back on again. I say thank you very much to my producer back in London. Kudos to the job that you're doing on the other side of the globe. The time is 18:50. I'm going to play we're still reviewing this communique that came out with the governors, on Monday, and comparing that to the response from the Northern Coalition Group as well. The Northern Coalition groups believe that the Southern governors are backing, people like, Sunday igboho, Nnamdi Kanu, and some of the atrocity happening on the ground as well. Do you agree with that? Do you believe in what the Northern Group Coalition are saying in response back to, the communique that came out, on Monday? Again, we are back to our base in London where we are broadcasting from the Niger Voices, and I say once again, kudos to my producer working tirelessly, back in London. I've looked at the, those 10 points that the governors have raised. What could have been said in there that the North is not really happy with? So I'm still looking at exactly 7 o'clock. We're gonna go straight into, the other conversation, with the, invasion and assassination attempt on Chief Sunday igboho's house from 7 o'clock. We'll be talking about those arrested. We'll be reviewing, the situation of the rally that took place in Lagos. How come out of all the states that we had a peaceful rally, Lagos eventually become the only state where the police killed an innocent person? A 14-year-old girl was shot with a straight bullet in Lagos. So I'm going to be looking at that in about 8 minutes from now. But I'm still looking at what these Northern Coalition groups have said regarding the outcome. The Southern governor said on Monday, why is it that the North is never happy, with the outcome of anything that comes out from the South? Why are they not ever happy? Why is it that there's a kind of mistrust that whatever the South governor says, they must attack it back quickly as a element of danger to this to the unity of Nigeria? There's no unity in Nigeria. We have the North controlling majority part of the system. You might have maybe 1 or 2 ministers out there. We have more state from the North than the South. We have more resources pumped from the South to the North. And if you look at the, when you compare that with Lagos, you realize that, what Lagos is putting back, to the federal government coffer is quite huge. Yet, the Northern Coalition have decided that this union, anytime the South came back to say, we can't continue with this present situation as well. Once again, thank you very much, Ayo Ore, for that, super chat. I appreciate that again for those of you watching us on YouTube as well. So let me open what I had to say. They talked about the PIB. I mean, if you've been following, that update, of the petroleum industry bill, you will realize that quite a lot is just not right when it comes to Nigeria. Thank you very much, Ayo Ore, once again on YouTube, and so many of you watching me from all other platforms. On the other screen, if you're watching on Star Radio UK, this is Niger Voices coming every Wednesday. This show has been something we've been doing, with my producer. We came out with it 4 years ago, and before that election, in 2019. We had a lot of people that we interviewed, and we continue to be stronger. And now that I believe that Nigeria is no longer working, in as much as a lot of people want us to change the name, Nigeria Voice says, but we will keep that name. But my position have always been, and again, this is my own position, not the position of Starr Radio UK. I do not believe in Nigeria, and I believe that the Yoruba land must be established. The Oduduwa Republic, or the Yoruba Nation, as anyone could call it, is the only way out. When you look at countries like Denmark, you look at countries, that are not up to 80 million Yorubas, you would then ask yourself, why can't we be a country of our own? Nigeria has never worked. It has been a crime against humanity. And, again, when I look at 4 weeks ago, the Northern Coalition seeks suspension of constitutional review. They just don't want anything, to do with, a kind of a system that would work for everyone in Nigeria. I mean, these are people that hold on to the power. They believe power belongs to the North alone. Power doesn't belong to the other tribe as well. And this is quite, a lot of worry to a lot of other Nigerians that believe that, if you want to continue with the unity of Nigeria, you do not want to restructure. I believe restructuring is just exactly too late, with so many Yorubas that believe so as well. I mean, there's nothing to restructure. The 1999 Constitution is one of the most fraudulent documents that you can ever think of. It has only favored a particular, set of people as against every one of us. So when you look at all these put together, I already say their system is not working in the North as well. Yes, the system is not working. And, Denmark, Lawrence says Denmark is just 5.6 million. And I watch them play the Euro. And I would love to see Yoruba land, or Yoruba Nation, or Yoruba or Oduduwa Republic, to also be part of all this, kind of a football match as against Nigeria that cannot even, produce, support to those going for the Olympic as an example. So the problem is that we just totally need to, come out of Nigeria, regardless of, what you believe in or not. Nigeria, and that is something that a lot of us that believe that it is time in Nigeria as well. Once again, you're watching these Job Voices coming every Wednesday between the hours. Good evening to you, Samson. Adekunle says, good evening, my brother. Yoruba Nation now not going back. DSS should release the people in their hands. I'll be discussing that in just about 2 minutes from now. Again, when you follow the news of these, I'm still reviewing the outcome of the southern governors and also the northern governors. My question is, why is the North always against, this kind of outcome? Why? Can anyone give us those? I'll also be looking at some of your your comments in just about a few minutes. I know it should be coming from the South. When I saw that, I got to drink a little bit of water on that. When you read that the South is now saying we want the presidency to come to the North, Southern governors demand for rotational presidency and attempt to weaken the Northern groups. It's just unbelievable. I mean, with the way things are going, the best option for everyone is Ronke Urola says, I stand with Chief Sunday Igboho, likewise myself and millions of Yorubas. We'll be discussing more on the atrocity and the assassination attempt in just about a minute from now. Again, do you believe that the North will allow, the position of the Southwest governor in terms of allowing the presidency to be, to be rotated to the Southwest? What is your take on that? Is that your own take as well? Do you believe that as well? The Senate, which is like a rubber stamp, have now approved 2.3 trillion foreign loan request to push public debt to 35 trillion. Some of you don't even understand that Nigeria is in a huge debt. that the next generation, if we do not get out of Nigeria, from my own point of view, if we do not come out of Nigeria as quickly as possible, we will be trapped in the debt from the foreign loan from China, from the foreign loan from Russia, from the foreign loan from UK, foreign loan from America, Saudi Arabia, the Arab countries, and we could end up become another slaves for so many years. We would rather come out of Nigeria now and we split the bills among each other. But if you are saying, oh no, I want to be part of Nigeria, leave us alone. Those of you, talking about, the disintegration of Nigeria, I would then say to you, Nigeria today is now 35 trillion naira in debt. Wow. I would like somebody that knows, have a good, maths knowledge to see if they can. And I'll be discussing about, 121 students of the Kaduna school demand rice and beans. This is no longer a joke. I mean, those of you that believe that the country can work, I say to you, the country can naira with the 200 million population that we have, and let's see how much each of us are owing as a debt to our foreign loans outside the country. You're watching Niger Voices on Starr Radio UK, and it is your African and Caribbean radio station in London. If anyone have the answer, I'll be giving the result of that. Let's first play this audio, and you'll be hearing the voice of Shewa Kimbaloye. I'm sure a lot of you know him very well. But later on, you will get the sound of the senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, and what he had to say on the raid that took place on the 1st of July at the resident home of Chief Sunday Igboho in his house in Soka in the middle of the night by terrorists that wanted to assassinate him. 2 people were killed. 1 was murdered in cold blood. 1 was shot at point blank, and the bodies have not yet been released. 12 people, 2 of them need medical attention, but they are still in the hands of the DSS. Let's hear what this conversation is all about.
That if there would be any operation of the security agencies, the chief security officer of the state, the governors, should be informed with what happened in Ibadan, the raid on Sunday Igboho's house, and the rally we saw in Lagos. What is your assessment and what's your take?
Well, I think it is a decision that is coming rather late. Governors are chief security officers of their state in line with the provisions of the Constitution. And in the case of AG Anambra State, Attorney General of Anambra State, and Attorney General of the Federation, when Governor Ngige of the then Anambra State was kidnapped, with the connivance of a chief police officer, the state governor went to court, and the Supreme Court made the point that commissioners of police in each state are under the control of the governor, and they must take directives from the governor. In the case of Inspector General of Police and ANPP, the Court of Appeal made the point that when the name of the IG, Inspector General of Police, is not mentioned in the Public Order Act. But what has happened over the years, even when the party of the governor of the state wants to hold a rally, you get a directive from the Inspector General of Police in Abuja that cannot meet. So I think our governors are beginning to appreciate that they are the chief security officers in the state. By the way, Shehu, every state government in Nigeria has a security council. The governor is the chair. The commissioner of police is a member. The director of state security service is a member. All the military commanders.
That is the voice of the senior advocate of Nigeria. And now we're going into the second segment of the program. This is Niger Voices. Thank you very much, Miko Aro. I say thank you very much for the super chat as well. Now, the senior advocate of Nigeria Mr. Femi Falana, is now giving us the background of the raid that took place at the home of Chief Sunday Igboho. A lot. Okay, how much other countries are owing us? They should calculate so that we can minus it as well. Okay, I'm not sure how much other countries are owing us because we are not producing anything and we are not giving anything as well in terms of in terms of the what we should minus out. But I want you all to divide 200 million of us as against 35 trillion. 35 trillion Facebook. 35 trillion of the 35 trillion that we are owing currently as well. So what I want us to focus on is Femi Falana, Mr. Femi Falana, the senior advocate of Nigeria, is saying, look, you've raided Chief Sunday Igboho's house like an armed robber. You've killed 2 people. You've put out a lie that he had stockpile of weapons when we have so many Boko Haram, we have so many terrorists, RPG. I've looked at what took place on Monday. 150 innocent children were kidnapped from their school, and yet no one is saying anything to that. Let's hear more of what the senior advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Femi Falana, has to say. Ruben said Denmark is even a very small to compare with Yoruba land. Yes, Denmark is not even up to 8 million and they are living a better life. So each person, according to Temiolua Oke, says 175,000 is what we are owing, the debt that each one of us are owing. Oh, wow. Do you think that how many Nigerians today have 175,000 naira? A lot of Nigerians does not even have 5,000 naira as I speak today, but yet your debt allocation as of today is 175,000 naira. So I talked about the now I think I should be able to read more of your comment for those of you on the other broadcast as well. Hopefully I'll read the comment out as well. Thank you very much. Yes, Sabino says Femi Falana is one Nigerianist. He should stop shouting law. Nigeria very well, even though we were unable to see each other on the Yoruba land. How do we do candlelight for those killed in Igboho's house? Because tomorrow is the 8th day. Very good view there. I'm sure we'll be discussing that as well. So let's focus back now. We're now at the second segment of this program. Once again, the money we didn't benefit, according to Adiola Nuruddin. Adiola Nuruddin says we never benefited from that money, but every single one of us. Thank you very much, Iyabo Joe Stella. He says it now that the law is not working again in Nigeria. Everybody knows the law is not working in Nigeria, but that is why they've not allowed. Somebody keeps saying how much other countries are owing us. I'm sure they're owing a lot because they've been taking crude oil without paying for it. They've been taking gas without paying for it. But let's complete that video or the soundtrack because you can't see the video. It's 9 minutes past the 7th of July, a week ago, which is about less than few hours from now. Everybody was waking up with a terrible incident at Chief Sunday Igboho's house when terrorists working with the federal government wanted to assassinate him in his house. They came with heavy machine gun. 2 people were killed. The bodies have been taken away. 12 innocent Yorubas are now still in the hands of the DSS inside the underground cells. 2 out of those 12 need urgent medical need as well. This is Star Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's continue with what Mr. Femi Falana, the senior advocate of Nigeria, has to say.
The state are members. What is small? We have the Nigerian Police Council, headed by the president. The president is only the chairman. The 36 state governors are members. Of course, the Inspector General of Police and the Chairman Police Service Commission. That body, that 39-member body, where you have 36 governors, is empowered by the Constitution to administer organ.
When someone like these senior advocate of Nigeria continue to hammer on this constitution, this is the same constitution that disrespect and disobey the law, and disobey average citizens in the country. They're not going to get that. because there's no way they will get that. Candy May 121 says the zoo has failed and every day get exposed more and more, and that is the beauty of I mean, this is a government that doesn't want freedom of speech, and they believe, okay, each citizen is owing 217,000. Wow, Olamilekon, thank you very much for that breakdown. That's somebody that knows further math and a very good knowledge of maths. Shekaru Bello says, I stand with Sunday Igboho. Non-slave says the useless constitution. I mean, the senior advocate of Nigeria is talking about the constitution. But everybody knows that the government is not believing and working with this constitution. They've raided a house in the middle of the night to assassinate an innocent Yoruba man. Nothing more than it disagreed with the Fulani herdsmen terrorizing, kidnapping, raping, creating havoc on the Yoruba land. There's evidence based to that. There's atrocity based to that. We can see that everyone has the knowledge. It is visible. This is not something that is hidden. He has continued with a peaceful rally across the Yoruba land. He has continuously said that we do not attack any security operatives in any of our operation. He has continuously been a citizen within the Yoruba land and also speaking to millions of people across the globe. And his word has continuously to say, we will get a nation of our own, without any kind of bloodshed. He has, refused, even though as much as some people wanted to push in. And the question we should be asking ourselves tonight is, what if one of the soldiers or the terrorist or the individuals that was sent to that residence was killed? Have you ever thought about that? Have you thought about that? That Chief Sunday Igboho knew what he was doing. He knew that there was no way he could be roped because the government wanted to rope him, even though they sent in, machineries, not the DSS alone, the Nigerian army alone, but they sent individuals to assassinate him. And they expected him to respond back to them, and maybe they would have lost 2 or 3 lives, but none of that happened. Rather, Chief Sunday Igboho's house that was raided, their corpse for them to be buried as soon as possible. They should have been buried even, the same day, to be buried as soon as possible. They should have been buried even, the same day according to the Islamic rite, because both of them should have been buried. But we are now talking about 7 days. 7 days passed, and the bodies is still with the DSS or the government. And someone like, the senior advocate of Nigeria is talking about a constitution that is fraud. Let's hear more from Mr. Femi Falana.
Supervise the Nigerian police force. So governors are right, perfectly in order in giving this directive. Now you can't have a situation perfectly in order in giving this directive. Now you can't have a situation where nocturnal arrests are made in a state.
Once again, Festus Adenwomi says Ireland is just 5 million. That is not even up to Lagos. Lagos is about 20 million. So when you look at Ireland, you can have 4 countries out of it. And those living in Ireland, some of them that are living comfortable, disagree, with this kind of, movement and says all kind of rubbish, thinking that, when you live outside, in your own comfort zone, and you forget that people that are suffering on a daily basis. I mean, if you're living in Ireland, you're living in Wales, you're living in Scotland, you're living in America, you're living in Canada, and you are not in support of a Yoruba nation for whatever reason, because you believe that every one of us, you can label us, and put all kind of allegation. One thing you've got to remember is your land is being encroached by the Fulanis, and they don't care whether you are comfortable or you are not. But one thing a lot of us need to understand is those against this movement, especially those in Dublin, in Scotland, in England, in Wales, in Turkey, in Germany, in Italy, they sit down, they watch us every day, and they criticize and label, people like us, with all sort of allegation. I mean, those allegations doesn't have any weight in the court of law. But one thing is, This court of law that people like Senior Advocate of Nigeria thinks is going to work with that constitution is never going to work. Yes, you might not be living in Nigeria, you might be comfortable wherever you are, but you need to also remember that it is not Chief Sunday Igboho alone that was the target. Every Yoruba has been a target. Whether you're a diaspora, your life is at risk when you come to Nigeria, and I'm not sorry to say so. Let's continue. It's 16 minutes past, and let's now hear more from the Senior Advocate of Nigeria.
Now, as if everybody was wondering who did it, and that 7 people were killed. People were arrested and abducted at 2 a.m. The governor of the state wasn't aware. So everybody was...
Did you hear that? People were abducted in the middle of the night. People were killed. Damage worth millions of value was destroyed. Vehicles was destroyed. His life was put in danger. And the only thing someone like Gabashew could be saying is they are pleased with the situation. And then you see some of the Yorubas making all kind of criticism against somebody like Chief Sunday Igboho as if he has committed an offense. Yeah, it was 2 people that was killed. I'm sure it was probably maybe a slip of tongue from the Senior Advocate of Nigeria. And you see those diaspora sitting down comfortable in their zone and say and point finger and say, oh, Chief Sunday Igboho was pushed to what he was doing. But some of them that are living in Dublin, in Scotland, in England, in America, in Canada, in Turkey, in Spain, in Germany, in Denmark, in Austria, in New Zealand, you are also enjoying what people fought for. That is what you cannot understand. People fought for your freedom, allowing you to stay and live comfortable in those particular countries I've been talking about. So when you sit down in Dublin and make all kind of criticism, when you sit down in Scotland and make all kind of criticism, when you sit down in England and make all kind of criticism, when you sit down in Norway, in Denmark, some of these countries are even smaller when you talk about Denmark as an example. But yet, you do not understand that the freedom that you are enjoying today, you might not even have anything to do with the benefit of that country because you are doing your own hard work labor, but you are enjoying a freedom that was fought to the system to make life comfortable for you. But we are now talking about a system here where your freedom is not even tolerated. And that is why a 14-year-old girl that was less than 1,000 naira, I'm guessing so. But when people sit down in Dublin, they sit down in Scotland, they sit down in all their, comfortable zone and criticize, people that want better life for their own people. You might disagree with them. Again, this is Starr Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station. Thank you very much to my producer back in London. You can make all kind of allegation that does not carry any weight. But one thing I can tell you is, your life is in danger. It is not just about the life of Chief Sunday Igboho alone that we are discussing here. The lives of the 80 million Yorubas are in danger already. So whether you criticize us or you criticize him and you point fingers at him and you analyze it the way you think is worth it, I can say to you, your life is also at risk. It's either you do not come back home. You can sit down in Dublin, you can sit down in Scotland, you can sit down in England, you can sit down in Wales, you can sit down in America, in Canada, in New Zealand, in Thailand, in Malaysia, in Turkey. You can sit down anywhere you are, comfortable, but your own, your indigenous home is no longer going to be yours anymore because the Fulani wants to take it away from you. And the moment that is gone from you, your generation to come, that after you have lived a very long life, will no longer have any territory to return back to. And then people continue to say, we talk about the constitution. That constitution that should have been put on hold for a very long time. And that's the same constitution that we have so many senior advocates of Nigerians using. And knowing that nobody is going to listen to them. People have been kept in the hands of the DSS, but others from the above refuse to allow them to be seen by their legal representative. I am asking those of you living outside the country, would you be taken to court today? Or no, will you be taken out of your home for whatever offense? We have seen terrible offense happening in UK before. We have seen terrible offense happening in Dublin, in America, and yet it doesn't matter how terrible the crime is. We have seen people kill human beings and they still have access to a lawyer. But some of you are quick to judge because you are not comfortable with the man leading the mission. Oh, you do not like the face of Chief Sunday Igboho. You prefer to be somebody else leading us. You do not believe in Professor Banji Akintoye, so you rather believe against Starr Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. This time last week, we were discussing the preparation for the mega rally until the early hours of Thursday at 1:30 a.m. The house of Chief Sunday Igboho was raided and 2 people were killed. And you are more comfortable to say that. Just Ransom says, all this happening, but the British government maintained silence. 2 people were killed inside a home. 1 person was killed in America, George Floyd, and the whole world was on a shutdown. So what makes it different that 2 innocent lives inside the home of a resident, at the home of a resident, 2 innocent lives. One was not shot, one was shot at the close range. Thank you very much. Yink Mos, I love your program, my brother. With this platform, Yoruba Nation we stand. No going back. And we see people. I've missed a lot of comment. Eriola says, Mr. Koiki, well done. I am chatting from Federal Republic Oduduwa. Thank you. Ola Kadri says, it is obvious Nigerian government and its ethnic war agenda to subjugate and take over other ethnic land and territory is a crime act. Federal government should release and free all Yoruba Nation agitators. Self-determination is not a crime. Stop the genocide. The Constitution of 1999 is a fraud. Mama Esther Adeton Ewituga JP. Fumilayo says, I am watching from Dublin. Dublin has opportunity because people fought for you to live there. So when people criticize and say, oh, we do not like Koiki because of the way he's putting this agitation and the movement. But what you forgot to remember is that same country that you are currently living, wherever it is across the globe, believe freedom is free. But the Constitution does not believe so. It's exactly 1924, and we are now reviewing the atrocity, the crime. 2 innocent lives. We are still talking about where is the bodies. Can you think about 2 people killed in England of today, and yet? Can you think about 2 people killed in England of today, and you can't get the body from the police? I am just putting that question to every one of us. Let's hear more. Once again, we're not taking calls tonight. A lot of us must think back. It is not about us. It is not about me. It is not about you. It is about the generation that is coming. Christina Talabi says, the difference is that the black Americans turns out in a large number to protest against George Floyd killing, whereas in the Yoruba land, the Yorubas haven't done mega protests about what happened to Chief Sunday Igboho. We saw, the protest in as much as, it could have been much better, but we give kudos to every individual that came out, to that protest at Ibadan, and the protest led to Olu of Ibadan, and likewise, the federal secretariat of the government in your state. But let us remember, let's go straight to Twitter and see what is happening there. I believe that God is with us in this battle. That's Ayate Jokeade. Thank you very much. Adewumi says, I wonder, DK is showing a punch hand. He also said, why you people on IG don't love and comment? Okay. People are scared. People are scared. African and Caribbean radio station in London. We're transmitting back to our base in London, where I say kudos to my producer working very hard behind the scene. We are looking at the northern versus the southern governors. Why is it that the north is never happy with anything coming out from the south? We'll remember this song. Let's take you back to memory lane. Let's take you back a little bit to memory lane. We remember that song, Andrew Don't Check Out, 1980s. Let's read the comment again. Imole194 on Instagram says, Mr. Koiki is a human, so let's whoever think it does come out to do the same. Yes, thank you very much. We love you, sir. We ate of the fruit of Yoruba land. We will eat out of the fruit of Yoruba land, definitely. Let's go back and hear these. We'll remember these. We'll remember these. Let us pray for those that died at the Chief Sunday Igboho's house, and let us remember those still in the hands of the DSS that have not yet been given access to the legal representatives. Look at what Ayo Ojajoni says. 50 people were killed in Igogon by Fulani militias a month ago. We must remember them. 50 people. Imagine 50 people killed in England today by terrorists. Oh my Lord, the whole country will go on a halt. 50 people? But it is Yoruba land. Who cares? That's always the question. There's a lot of genocide taking place in the southeast of the country. Like someone said, we should be holding a candlelight procession for those killed at Chief Sunday Igboho's house tomorrow. We'll be putting things together and try to make sure we can put that together as well. I don't think Nigeria is going to survive because the 1914 amalgamation has expired. The 1999 constitution is a scam. Thank you very much, Lizzie, Dada, and those of you on Instagram, YouTube, those of you watching us on Starr Radio UK, remember to download our Starr Radio UK apps on the Android and the iOS. But the best way to listen to us is Niger Voices every Wednesday from 6 p.m. The ancestors are very upset. 14-year-old girl was killed, I can say, by the Nigerian police, specifically the commissioner for police that brought out all those police right in Lagos. Odumosu, the death of that 14-year-old girl is right on your neck. The blood had been flowing for a very long time and it continued to flow. You could not even think about the atrocity that took place at Chief Sunday Igboho's house last week, Thursday. Wow. I want to play a soundtrack, or not a soundtrack, a video that was captured by one of our media at the early hours of the day of that incident. Let us hear. It's quite pitch dark. We've posted it before, and we will continue to post it more as well. This video was shot right when more military convoy were making their way to Chief Sunday Igboho's house last week. Okay, not this one. Not this one. Once again, I think it's this one.
patrol kan náà ló ń lọ ẹṣẹ́ tí rí àwọn ló ń lọ yẹn ṣe tí àwọn ilox wọn nìyẹn ṣe tí àwọn ilox yẹn they are full of soldiers. àwọn kan ti ló ń wájú mi tètè bẹ̀rẹ̀ kámẹ́rà yẹn ni bọ̀ káṣí.
Sent at about close to 4 a.m. on Thursday last week. 4 a.m. last week.
Patrol kan náà ló ń lọ ẹṣẹ́ tí rí àwọn ló ń lọ yẹn ṣe tí àwọn ilox wọn nìyẹn ṣe tí àwọn ilox yẹn they are full of soldiers. àwọn kan ti ló ń wájú mi tètè bẹ̀rẹ̀ kámẹ́rà yẹn ni.
These are so, I mean, I was looking at again some of the damage, to the house, I'm about to show you a pool of blood. Remember, this is a pool of blood of human beings. These are not animals. They were not just only killed at point blank. One was murdered in cold blood, and part of the blood is what you can see right there. Part of the blood is what you can see there. Pool of blood. And this is a country that some people say, those of you agitating for Yoruba Nation, is not worthy because of the incident that took place last week Thursday. But this part of incident have been happening before. Oh yes, our correspondent that worked that night was almost killed because a rifle was pointed to him until he has to zoom off on his motorbike. He was extremely lucky. They never knew that we could have somebody out there at the middle morning of about 2 a.m. He was already out reporting to everyone across the globe while we had our reporter, one of the, the agitator giving us that feed from inside the house until we lost signal from her. If you listen to the sound coming out from Chief Sunday Igboho's house, these were, imagine you or myself killing a cat in UK. Think about that. Once again, this is Starr Radio UK Niger Voices every Wednesday between 1800 hours and 2000 hours. The time now is 19:35. We have about 20 minutes or so before we hand over back to our studio in London. Have you think about it? A cat was even killed. No mercy at all for anyone found in the house. People say, we thought Chief Sunday Igboho was strong. He could have dealt with them. Have you ever thought about what could have also been the consequence the other way around? What could have been labeled on him? He has not even done so. They've asked for his head as a wanted person as if he's a criminal. Chief Sunday Igboho is not a criminal. You don't ask those kind of questions, City Salt, at this very difficult time. They've labeled him as a wanted man when we have the ISWAP that just kidnapped 150 innocent children in Kaduna, and they are now using them for the bargaining chip. Is this how we're all going to sit down and do nothing? And then people will point fingers at this particular time. Similar incident have happened. 1993, late Chief MQ was never Once again, a very good evening. Again, these are pool of blood of human being. Pool of blood. The Yorubas all went into mourning last week. Everybody was very, very discomfort. Everyone. It does not matter who you are. Maybe few people were not discomfort. People like, the Fulanese. But if you have the flesh and the blood in you, you will definitely be discomfort. Thursday last week was not just about Chief Sunday Igboho. Thursday last week was purposely done to assassinate every 80 million Yorubas so that we can all keep quiet and say nothing again. The coordinator for the US are in different stages. You will have to send us a message so that we can respond to that. I read the message. Last week, Thursday, will be remembered in the history of Yoruba. Okay, somebody said I sent a message. Yeah, send it again. We have about over 20,000 messages on the phone, and I'm sure you have to bear with us. You can send an email, musakalam@gmail.com. I might pick that up quicker. musakalam@gmail.com. 19, it was a Black Thursday. People were already in bed. It was a terrible day. It was a tragedy. And that tragedy, millions of Yorubas are still feeling the pain. It was an attack on the Yorubas. It was just not an attack on Chief Sunday Igboho and his family. musakalam@gmail.com. musakalam@gmail.com. It was terrible. It was a terrible Black Thursday. And the only thing the government could say is to label him. July 1st, 2021 will be a day to remember for a very long. Your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. 2 out of those 12 need urgent medical need. We pray again for the soul of those. I can confirm that legal representatives have been added more by Professor Banji Akintoye. I had the opportunity to speak to the team this morning, and they're working around the clock to make sure they get everybody out, and likewise the 49 people that were detained during the Lagos mega rally. It shows that there were elements of people behind the whole incident that we saw on Thursday leading to the Saturday morning. A 14-year-old girl was killed by the commissioner for police because it was his man that deployed, by the commissioner for police because it was his man that deployed the straight bullet. And they had to come out with a statement that the body was kept there. That was even an insult to the family of the loved one that died. Is this a country that you want us to hold on together? And the North talks about the unity of this country. Somebody says, my concern now is where will they put the corpse of these people that died? Maybe some of you forgot that sound of what it means for the individuals in the house present when the whole scenario was playing out. Put yourself in their shoes. Put yourself in their shoes. This was Lady K on the day of the incident, speaking to us. That is the sound of the gun, machine gun.
ẹjọ́ máa bá wa ṣe àwọn sójà ti àtàkì wa àwọn sójà ẹjọ́ ẹ máa ṣe ẹ ilé Chief Sunday Igboho àwọn sójà ti surround gbogbo ilé wọn yìnbọn gidi ní báyìí ẹjọ́ bá wa ṣe ẹ bá wa pass information yẹn fún gbogbo ọmọ káàárọ̀ oòjíire ẹjọ́ mi ò lè bí àtàlà àti ra under attack now in Chief Sunday Igboho house. ẹjọ́ àti wà under attack already with Nigerian military confam lele ẹjọ́ àwọn sójà ní Nigeria sójà ìbọn wọn lẹ ń gbọ́ yẹn wọ́n yìnbọn gidi ní confam ẹ bá wa share ẹ máa bá wa pass information yẹn kí everybody wà alert àwọn warrior kí gbogbo wọn wà alert àwọn tó bá lè máa.
That was the sound. And that sound, the echo of that day will never be forgotten in the history of the Yoruba anymore. Somebody says, Bola Oluwani. I wept profusely like a baby on Thursday, the 1st of July. That video is an evidence, is a lasting trauma. It was planned. Everybody knows that. The Lagos mega rally was meant to be, just like George Akinola says with us when we called him last week, the Iyalaya rally. But we now saw that they never wanted that. Kill him, and that would end every movement. And that will probably make some of you happy. Take him out. That will probably make you happy. 1948, at exactly 1955, I'll be handing over back to my studio producer in London. Let's just take another 30 seconds from that memory of last week. Put yourself in their shoes.
That me to share. Chief Sunday's Bow House. Ile Oloye Igboho ṣe ń gbọ́. Ẹ ń pè òbọn.
First of July, we stand with his family. We stand with every innocent individuals that is now in the hands of the DSS. Let's just go through quickly before we start handing over back to London. Part of the statement that was released yesterday. DSS denial of detainees arrested in Sunday Igboho's house access to their lawyers, a travesty and constitutional injustice. This is to call the attention of the entire world to the continuous reckless abuse of fundamental human rights of political detainees arrested by the DSS at the residence of Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igboho on Thursday, the 1st of July 2021, during the most bizarre, Gestapo and unlawful raid of Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igboho's home. These political detainees, caught in the crosshairs of the government capricious abuse of official power, have since been held on the ground under lock and key and remain incommunicado from their lawyers and families. All attempts by the legal representatives to meet with them as prisoners of conscience at the DSS headquarters 3 Arms Zone, Abuja, yesterday the 5th of July and the 6th of July have been rebuffed, refused and thwarted by the Department of Security on a mere whims. An official letter submitted by the members of the legal team requesting for visitations with the detainees and highlighting the constitutional preparatory of such a visit has been discontent by the men of the DSS, who are adamant about ignoring constitutional provision and claiming to only act on the orders from above. This is the country you want to keep together. This is the country some of you love so much. 1951, 4 minutes before we hand over back to London. Candy May, 1-1, that is against the law. Zoo. Lizzie Dada, yeah, is an abuse of power. It is done even by the local government chairman, it's done by the council, it's done by every individual. Take advantage. Adekunle Dick, thank you very much for watching all the way. It is well. It is important to state that the two of the detainee individuals are in need of urgent medical attention, particularly the female blogger. And I'm sure everybody knows who that is. And although the DSS are very much aware of a critical health condition which requires urgent care, they have refused to act on the same. It goes without gaining saying that we will hold the DSS and its entire hierarchy liable should any harm befall these detainees. This is Starr Radio UK, your finest African and Babatunde Owasheyi. Let there be synergy to make it happen. Oh yes, there will be synergy. And I'm aware that there's a process of a peaceful protest coming up in London within the next 48 hours. As soon as I get a clarity of that, I'll be putting that information out. We must continue to hold the federal government accountable for the atrocity, and we must continue to demand the release of the bodies of those that have been taken away, and likewise the release of the 12 innocent Yorubas still in the hands of the DSS. The hot replied that only orders from above will be acted upon with regard to this detainee is indeed cause for grave concern, as it hints that the DSS are prepared to disregard due process, abuse its power further, and suppress the fundamental right of these political detainees. The government care less about anyone. Ade Abake, I stand with Sunday Igboho. Abolade Ibrahim, God bless you, brother. Olabishe, Yoruba people hate the truth. Anthony Oyelua from Instagram. Good evening, Mr. Koiki. As at now, we don't need too much talk. What we need is to face those others and those stupid government that is coming from Ajokiade all the way on Instagram. A very difficult time for the Yorubas, but we must pull together. The Yorubas were assassinated on Thursday last week, and we will not forget every single soul. It's exactly 1954. We just take a minute silent for those killed at Chief Sunday Igboho's residence. And from this end, I will say, at exactly 1:30 a.m. this morning, let us remember this time last week, danger was already looming. People, groups, terrorists were already planning for the attack and invasion of the home of Chief Sunday Igboho, but all that rolled out at exactly 1:30 a.m. The road was blocked off completely from the highway to the road that links into Soka. And we will remember everyone that got killed, and we will remember those that are still in the hands of the DSS. I'm not going to hand over back now to the studio, to Mr. Archie. I say good evening from this side. My name is Ola Yomi Koiki. Join me again next week, Wednesday, for another edition of Niger Voices on Starr Radio UK. Have a very good evening, and bye for now.